The sheriff's department investigated and found deep claw marks along trees 10 feet off the ground, and something had shredded a deer carcass nearby. Over the following week, local hunters began calling it the Taylor Beast. Despite patrols, no creature was captured or confirmed. Some claimed it was a man in a costume, until local farm dogs began vanishing one by one. Encounter 5. The Snowbound Giant of Mount Shasta, California, 1921. In February 1921, the Mount Shasta Tribune recorded a disturbing account from snowshoer Walter Hensley, who became stranded in the wilderness during a sudden blizzard.
It's unclear whether its teeth are visible or if it's holding something in its mouth. Overall, the image is downright chilling. The snow-caked fur adds a sense of realism, suggesting this creature has been out in the harsh winter conditions for some time. It's a strikingly lifelike capture. Idaho itself has a long and rich Bigfoot history in the western United States. These ancient stories often align eerily well with contemporary Bigfoot descriptions. By the 1950s and 60s, Idaho began seeing a rise in Bigfoot reports, particularly among logging and hunting communities. Remote regions like the Clearwater and Bitterroot Mountains became hotspots. Hunters reported deep, chest-rattling howls echoing through the woods and discovered massive tracks near rivers and game trails.
Published as a special report in the now-defunct Lexington Evening Post, this story tells of a week-long siege experienced by the Thompson family in Briar Glen, a rural homestead deep in the Kentucky woods. After neighbors reported livestock mutilations, the Thompsons began hearing scratching and low growls outside their windows after dark. Their youngest daughter, Emily, described seeing a wolf man with long arms and a snarling face outside her bedroom at 2 a.m. One night, the entire family claimed to see 3 of the creatures surrounding their property. The beasts reportedly attempted to open the barn door and were seen pacing just beyond the tree line, illuminated in the beam of a floodlight. The sheriff's department filed a vague report. Large canines of unusual behavior. The family moved out 2 months later, never to return. Local legend refers to the event as the Dogman Siege of 77. Here are 6 true dramatized Bigfoot and Dogman encounters from the forests of America and terrifying tales pulled from historical newspapers and eyewitness accounts. Encounter 1. The Screaming Giant of Green Hollow, West Virginia, 1907. The Green Hollow Gazette, a small-town newspaper in rural West Virginia, published a chilling account on July 12, 1907. Farmer Jedediah Crane reported that his livestock were being harassed nightly by something tall enough to blot out the moonlight. Crane described it as a massive, upright creature covered in matted black hair, with burning red eyes and a scream that made the barn walls shake. His hounds refused to leave the porch at night. On the 5th night, Crane fired a shot at the creature with his rifle. The bullet struck, but it only made the beast roar louder and retreat into the forest. Buried in the archives of the New Jersey Ledger, an article from August 1932 details the harrowing ordeal of Clara and Raymond Miller, a couple driving through the Pine Barrens at night when their car broke down. According to Clara's statement, as Raymond tried to repair the engine, she saw something watching them from the tree line. Tall, like a man, but hunched like a wolf, with ears pointed straight up and yellow eyes that didn't blink. It charged the vehicle on all fours, slamming its claws into the hood. Raymond barely made it inside before the thing began gnashing at the windshield. They huddled inside until dawn. When they returned later with a tow truck, deep claw marks covered the hood, and tufts of coarse gray-black fur were found caught in the bumper. From the snowbound slopes of Mount Shasta to the haunted pine woods of New Jersey, stories of mysterious creatures, part man, part beast, continue to echo across generations. Whether it's the towering figure of Bigfoot or the snarling presence of the Dogman, these accounts reveal one thing: something lurks in the forgotten corners of our world.
Exactly why I keep warning people about Appalachia. You don't have to see them because they see you.
They followed me home from the gifting rock. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning right now. I think I don't know what to do, but they followed me home and it is absolutely staring at me right now.
Thinking it was a bear, he grabbed his lantern, and that's when he saw it. It stood like a man, near 8 feet tall, with arms hanging below its knees. It smelled like death and moved with jerky, unnatural strides. Boone claimed the thing stalked his camp for hours, throwing stones and letting out deep, guttural grunts. The next morning, massive footprints and crushed brush surrounded the site. Several other reports followed from the area over the next decade, earning the creature the local title, the Hairy Man of Sabine. He found shelter in a small cave, but wasn't alone. At first I thought it was a bear, curled deep in the shadows, Hensley recalled. Then it stood up, brushed snow off its arms, and looked me in the eye. The creature towered nearly 9 feet tall, its fur caked with ice, and its expression eerily intelligent. Hensley said it didn't attack. Instead, it stared, grunted once, and left the cave. 3 nights later, he followed large tracks in the snow that led him to a pile of stacked fish, left neatly outside his shelter. Hensley survived and swore the creature saved him.
The trail camera was first triggered by what appears to be a deer or some other animal moving through the foreground. But shortly after, it captured something far more unusual. An upright, bipedal, Sasquatch-like figure. The footage was later slowed down to give a clearer view, revealing a creature with a powerful muscular build. Features you can actually make out, even in the dark video. Its face looks distinctly ape-like, a common trait often described in Bigfoot sightings.
Mark Strittmatter vanished without a trace in Medicine Bow National Forest.
Here are some clips from that video. The second video is from Timber Giant's Bigfoot, titled Sasquatch Observed in the Forest, also known as Big Red. It was uploaded on December 18th and runs for about 14 or 15 minutes. I've selected some interesting segments for you, as the original footage includes a lot of camera issues, such as zooming in and losing focus on the subject. There is a recurring theory in our community that even scavengers avoid the remains of an apex cryptid due to a lingering alpha scent or chemical pheromones that signal extreme danger. Is this a biological reality of a hidden species, or just a trick of the light on a tragic case of animal disease? I want to hear from you. Look closely at those hands. Is that a paw, or something meant for grasping? Drop your theories in the comments below. Here's some found footage allegedly showing a dogman-like creature. Details about the video are scarce, and is fairly brief, but it gives a clear view of the entity that was encountered. A man was hiking late at night in a foreign country when he started hearing strange growling sounds. Against his better judgment, he moved closer, and that's when he saw the creature. The footage shows a large humanoid figure with the head of a dog covered in dark gray-black fur. It growls at the man, and he cautiously approaches, perhaps too close. At that moment, the creature lunges, knocking his phone out of his hand. The brief moments when he gets close provide an incredible view.
It always starts with the eyes. A flash of light where no light should be.
A glint of something watching from the deepest part of the woods. You feel them long before you see them. A prickle on the back of your neck. The sudden silence of the crickets. The world holds its breath, and you know you are no longer alone. You are being watched by something ancient, something that does not belong to the world of streetlights, science books. It belongs to the shadows, to the places where the map is still blank, and to the stories whispered late at night. There is a certain honesty that only comes out around a campfire. The flames dance and chase the shadows away, creating a small, safe circle of light. In that circle, people speak truths they would never say in the bright light of day. The stories that emerge are laced with a chilling sincerity, fragments of memory, polished by time but still sharp enough to cut. Ordinary people had extraordinarily strange encounters, tales of things that should not be, yet are. Real-life monster stories that keep us looking over our shoulders, drawn from real life, told in their words. We have changed names and locations, but the core remains untouched. Not fabrications or tall tales, but earnest recollections of people still grappling with what they witnessed. They spoke because telling became greater than fear. No easy answers here. These creatures do not fit in textbooks. They defy categories. Was it a bird? A demon? Something else entirely? That shook a hunter's tree stand in Texas? What stalked a family for years in the Australian bush? What was a white creature in the Idaho wilderness? And what mimicked a dead mother's voice to lure a young woman from her tent in Appalachia? We can only listen. The goal is not to prove or disprove. The goal is to listen. To understand how these moments change the human mind. The first account comes from a woman named Maria, a lifelong hunter from Central Texas. The year was 2011. It was a cool evening in late November. She was settled in her favorite tree stand, a sturdy metal platform 15 feet up a thick oak. Night had fallen. The woods were lit by a full moon. Maria was patient. She knew the rhythms of the woods at night, the hoot of an owl, the rustle of an armadillo, the distant yip of a coyote pack. She'd been in the stand for nearly 3 hours. The air grew colder. A light breeze whispered through dry leaves. Then the woods fell silent, sudden, absolute. Every cricket went quiet. Every frog went quiet. Every night bird went quiet. Maria felt a cold knot of dread. This felt wrong, a silence of fear. Something large was nearby. The forest held its breath as she tightened her grip. Slowly, fighting terror, Maria lifted her head. She looked into the branches above her. 2 enormous leathery wings were folded around the treetop, not feathered but skinned, like a colossal bat. Dark, absorbing the moonlight, holes in the night sky. No body, only immense folded wings. The shaking stopped. Silence grew heavier. Trapped 15 feet up with an impossible thing above. She could smell it. Dry leather. Decay, a metallic tang like old blood. The wings began to unfurl, a sound like cracking thunder. The oak swayed violently. She gasped. 30 feet of wing blotted out the moon. A reptilian head turned, its large black eye fixed on her. No malice, only a cold, ancient intelligence. Then a deep brain cry. With one downbeat it launched, an explosion of wind. The shape crossed the moon and disappeared into night. Case file number 2, the Queensland Crawler. Our second story crosses the world to a small, remote town in Queensland. David lived with his family on the edge of vast scrub. The oddities began in the late 1990s and lingered for years. It started with footsteps on gravel when no one was there. Their fearless cattle dogs whined and growled at the dark. They would not go out. Some nights the back gate shook as if torn by immense strength, yet each time it was still chained and latched. The dogs cowered inside. The first sighting came in a flicker of security light, pale, almost white, impossibly thin, crouched by the steps. It turned a featureless oval toward the window and unfolded, fleeing with inhuman speed. They saw it again and again. They called it the Crawler, always at the property's edge, tall, emaciated, limbs too long, insect-like gait, never a face, only smooth, pale nothing. Not aggression, just a deep primal wrongness. A glitch in reality, haunting their nights. One night, David woke to soft, rhythmic chanting from the yard. He crept to the window and peered out. Moonlight revealed a pale figure, motionless. The sound wasn't from it, but the air around it, a low, melodic hum. He watched for what felt like an hour. Neighbors told him of ley lines, paths of the earth's energy.
"These lines are like roads for things not of this world," she said. "You are living on a highway for spirits."
They tried brighter lights, higher fences, even a priest. Nothing worked. The figure still appeared, silent, watchful.
"What do you want? Leave us alone."
It did not move. It only tilted its head, then slowly faded, dissolving into air. They never saw it again, but they never forgot. In the early 1990s, in off-grid Idaho, our witness, Sarah, was 8. Her family lived miles from pavement. They roamed trails, creeks, and secret hiding spots. One bright afternoon, hide and seek near a clearing. She counted to 100, then looked. Everything was normal. Then she saw it. A white, shaggy creature walking on 2 legs. Its arms nearly reached its knees. Its legs were stout. It moved like a cartoon sneak, high-kneed, silent. Its fur was dingy, matted like an old sheepskin rug. It walked toward a 5-foot rotting stump. It took one high step, slipped behind, and vanished. It did not reappear. Her brother leapt out. She barely reacted.
"Did you see it?"
He laughed. She knew what she saw. Our final, most disturbing account comes from Appalachia. Jessica and Mark camped deep in a national forest. They ate, talked quietly, and drifted to sleep. Jessica woke to heavy, rhythmic breathing. Deep, wet, close, just outside the thin nylon. She lay still, heart hammering. Wet fur, damp earth, and a sharp metallic stink like burnt wires. The breathing stopped. She unzipped a slit and peeked. 20 feet away, a hulking, hunched figure. Powerful body, long arms, a cat-like head with pointed ears. She zipped the window shut, hands shaking. Then came the voice.
Jessica, honey, are you in there?
It was her mother's voice. Impossible. Her mother had died 2 years earlier.
Jess, it's me. I was so worried. Come on out, baby.
A grieving part of her wanted to believe, wanted to unzip the tent, but she knew what waited outside. It was not her mother.
Please, honey, I miss you.
She covered her mouth and did not answer. At first light, they emerged to wreckage and a knife embedded high in a tree. Thundering wings in Texas, a whispering mimic in Appalachia, leave us with more questions than answers. The hunter who no longer hunts, the family who moved, the child who never forgot, the camper who still hears a mother's voice. The world is not what it seems. There are ancient things in the dark, and sometimes they look back. If you ever hear a familiar voice call your name from the dark, you must never, ever answer.